Daily game design. Actually, I with Cabletop Games. I don't know if I should add that officially or not. um, I wanted to show you what distraction looks like really quick. I wonder if I can get there. So this was one of my first acts as a human being this morning. So, I wonder if you can see that. Actually, um, the very first thing I did was, well, this is maybe you recognize this as pour over coffee, and so anyway, boiled the water, got set up, and the first place I put grounds actually was up here in the top, which is definitely not where they're supposed to be. Anyway, so I was doing stuff. I was thinking about other things. I don't actually feel tired, so I don't know where this came from exactly. But then, I put the grounds in the right spot, feeling really good about myself, and then filled this cup at the top with water, failing to recognize that there was nothing to catch the coffee when it was done, as it was being brewed. So this was my first attempt at making a coffee this morning, so that was a good time. I actually have another couple photos that I'm happy to share with you. Wow, I don't know what some of these older ones are from. 6 years ago in Lancaster. Look at how skinny I was then. I don't know why my eyes are so droopy. Oh, it was just a video. Can you imagine? I definitely could be in this kind of shape. I was, that was a product of being vegan for 2 years. Okay, so this was last night, and this was it was our typical Monday night. Anyway, super nice time. Like this was kind of my dream, and what I want to be careful about is I want to say that every Monday night is special. So whether there are 5 people or there are 25 people, whether it's just a really simple, people kind of get tired and go home early, or we stay until 10:30 or 11. Whether there's a potluck or a couple of snacks, like every Monday night is special. It's for most people, most of the time, just a nice experience. And anyway, when I think about like what do I imagine out of a Monday night, this for the most part is it. This right here. And so what you see is a very diverse group of people, diverse in a few different ways. I'm sure there is an effect. I remember posting about this on Reddit, that we have a diverse group on Monday nights, and somebody pointed out that that it was almost all white people. Well, I look around here, I see people who grew up on the island. I see people of different cultural and ethnic backgrounds. There could be more diversity of certain types. I'm certain of that. But in my view, this is a really diverse group, especially in the sense that we all come from different ideological, religious, cultural backgrounds. So I look at this and I think, wow, this is really cool that we can all come together in this space. And I know that we all view the world very, very differently, but we can come together and enjoy each other's company playing games. There were a couple great situations where there were several games that were taught to new people, people who haven't played many games, and so I love seeing that sort of patient teaching, people taking on leadership roles. It's actually one thing. There are these youth pastor interns that come year by year, and I think I would love for them to be involved in what we do, partly because this is one great way to interact with a lot of people who think differently from you. What happens a lot of times in church culture is that we just become pretty insulated. We do a lot of in-reach stuff. We do a lot of work with people who are already members. And then the contact we have outside of church culture, outside of the organization, outside of the social group, it's a lot of like, high five, here's a pamphlet, or hey, why don't you come take a class from us? That's a lot of it. That's not all of it. I mean, there's also a lot of good service, like let's go work at a soup kitchen, let's do some dental work, let's go help clean up this area. Like there's a lot of stuff like that. But for me, growing up, and I think most of what the activity I see, it's very, very internal. Once you're in the group kind of sticks together, and then there are even subgroups, like factions inside of that group. Like I remember growing up in a church that was family oriented, but it was fragmented kind of by family. Like people, when it came to social events, a lot of them would just kind of stick to their families. That's one way to group up. That's one way to stay, inside of the church, to stay separate. That happens. Then, of course, there are ideological differences inside of the church, or there are just hobby differences and whatever. There are reasons people kind of stick to their own circles, even inside of the church. So anyway, like with these youth pastor interns coming in, I think, wow, this is a great opportunity. Number one, to meet people who are outside of the church in a social setting. This is just a way to connect with people, get to know people. I think that's great just by itself. But you know what? When it comes to leading a group in learning a game, this is no small thing. It's a big deal to be able to teach a group of people, to hold their attention, to direct their focus, to instruct. That takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of patience. And we see it pretty much every game night. And you know what's great about our group, our community, not just here on Mondays, but in general, like what I see with a lot of gamers, not all, but most, and certainly the nice nerds, is this incredible love for the hobby and a patience in sharing the thing you love. So, when it comes, like, they teach a game, they talk with people, they sit with people through the game. So that's what I see here in this first table. A friend of mine, Jim, he brought out this little Star Wars game. So first of all, he looked through the massive library we have. It's a little messy right now in the storage area. So things are kind of stacked on top of each other and whatever. But he looked through this great number of games, probably 300 games, and his eye settled on the Star Wars little minis. I forget what it's called. Dual Conflict. I forget what it's called. Star Wars Duels, I think. He'd played it once or twice, and he thought, given who I have at the table here with me, I think this game is going to be a good fit. There are lots of games that would not be a good fit, but that is such a key choice. It's a key decision, and it applies way beyond games. Like, given what I know about this audience, given what I know about my friend group, given what I know about my students, I think this will fit them well. That's such a beautiful thing to be able to compute, to process. And we've developed that taste here on Monday nights and here in the gaming hobby. People learn how to meet the needs, how to anticipate the level, the energy, the experience level, how to anticipate those things which are fundamental to human experience, how to anticipate, almost measure those things at the table, the good ones, the good teachers, the best teachers. There are people who will bring out a game and I'll have to step in and say, you know what, how about this game? I think this will work well for tonight. We don't have a lot of time left. How about you try this one? Or, and there will be a lot going into that. Like, I know the game they brought out is going to take 15 minutes to teach. I believe the people would like it once they understand it, but they're not going to be willing to sit through that long of a teach. That kind of thing. Well, I've been doing this a long time now. I mean, relative to, and even in a short amount of actual day-to-day time, like, I pack a lot of teaching and learning games I have packed a lot in these last 4 years. So I do it a lot, and I love seeing it happen. So that's what's here at this first table, Jim taking the lead. There's also this cool thing where we have people bringing their friends. That's what I love. There's this other guy. Just met him, not super into gaming. He's more athletic. He's more of a gymnast kind of guy, but he sat through the game, had a nice time. Here's this uncle. His name is Skip. I always like people named Skip. And anyway, he came in with a satchel and a binder, and he came in saying, "Hey, I heard there was RPG stuff over here." And I thought, I have definitely never advertised this place as doing RPGs. Certainly not. I have no idea how he found it, why he thought that way. But anyway, so he came in. I explained to him a little bit. What you'll find here